Hello YouTubers, Ted here in beautiful Côte St. Luc, Canada. In this Forge of Empires video, I will negotiate my way through the entire guild expedition. So I'm going to do this in my main city, and if you don't know what guild expedition is, it's a mini game within Forge of Empires. You can play it once per week, or you could totally ignore it. It has certain payoffs, certain prizes you can win if you're interested. And it comprises 4 levels. A 5th level is supposed to be coming, so maybe in a bit it'll be 5 levels, but right now it's 4 different levels. And each of those levels has 16 stages, I think they're called, or encounters. And each encounter can be solved in one of 2 ways. Like a number of things in this Forge of Empires game, you can solve by fighting or by negotiating. So I'm going to do negotiating, but normally what I do is fighting because it's easy. If I hit attack here, it brings up the attacking menu. And if I simply hit this one auto battle button, then in an instant, I will win this battle. And I will have beaten this encounter, and then I can collect this treasure, which has different random outcomes, and move on to the next encounter. So that's the way I normally do it, is by fighting, and in particular by using auto battle, because my armies are strong enough to beat all of the different enemy armies in Guild Expedition. But and that's what most people do, by the way, too. Most people fight because it's easier. I'm going to show you what it's like to negotiate your way all the way through Guild Expedition. And this is what I used to do in the early days of playing this game, where I was firmly on the side of peace and negotiating and building a strong economy for my city, and I wasn't that interested in fighting. I do the negotiating approach still in one of my other cities, on what's the world, Usaria, where I have a guild called Give Peace a Chance, and I have a bunch of other guild mates that are all doing the game by negotiating. So there we've, just sort of chosen not to fight ever, just as a way of playing the game in a different way. So anyway, and why am I showing this video this time? First of all, I don't know if there's any other YouTube video that shows negotiating all the way through Guild Expedition. Maybe there is. I didn't look that hard. So it might be just interesting for people to see, number one. Number two, it's a way of talking about negotiating in this game. I'll tell what my strategy is for negotiating, and hopefully we'll run into some interesting scenarios where the right choice might not be immediately obvious. So let's just show what negotiating looks like. If you've played this game, of course, you've seen it before. If you haven't seen the game, then basically you have to guess right 5 different goods or resources. So for each of these 5 slots, you make a guess. And on the very first encounter here, on the very first level, there's only 2 resources you can choose from. So I might just arbitrarily choose all gold, or I could choose some gold and some supplies. You get more than 1 guess. In fact, you get by default 3 guesses. And if I hit pay and negotiate, it'll tell me which of these guesses were right. Okay, 2 of them were right, 3 of them were wrong. I'll tell you what the orange color means later, and I can select the opposite choice for those slots, pay and negotiate, and I will succeed in the negotiation. Success, found the right combination, get some expedition points, and then I get to open this treasure chest, which has different chances of being different things. Okay, 2 forge points. And then we do this again. So we have another negotiation, and again, there's two options, and I can choose whatever options I like. It doesn't really matter because I have 3 turns. There's only 2 things to pick from. It's rather inevitable that I will get the answer right. It doesn't even let you, it doesn't let you put gold here a second time. So unless I just completely quit out of this window by pressing the X or something, I'm guaranteed not to lose this negotiation. Okay, so there's another negotiation completed, and I won a self-aid kit. Let's do another one. Now it starts to get a little more interesting. You can see a good, in this case, what is that thing called? Microgreen supplement is available. So now I have 3 choices. Of course, I have 3 turns. So again, I can't really fail the negotiations. What I typically do, because gold and supplies I have in much greater abundance than I have goods, I typically start by, on these lower levels, filling in gold or supplies. You can see I have 42G, that's for billion, like a giga, 42 billion gold, and it's costing me 1,000. So I have lots of gold, and I have 4 billion supplies. So easy to afford this. Okay, now here you see I got these 4 right. I got this one wrong. The remaining one is either going to be supplies or microgreen supplements. And again, I'm going to choose this one just because I have more of these than I have of these. Yeah, even ratio wise. I mean, 1553 out of 4 billion is a ratio of roughly 1 millionth. Is that right? And this is 1/24,000th, roughly. Anyway, it really doesn't matter much for these low levels. Okay, so I succeeded. I got some expedition points. I also got these diplomatic gifts. Don't worry about that. That comes from a different great building that I have that's operating in the background. Sometimes when I succeed in a negotiation, I get a diplomatic gift like that. And let's negotiate here. So now we have gold, or coins, supplies, and 2 different goods. And I have 3 turns. So in principle, I could lose this negotiation. It's pretty unlikely, but I could lose it. So what I usually do is just start by doing 1 of each of them and then fill the extra one with gold because I have the most gold. Okay, so I didn't get anything right. You can see that the squares are all orange. Orange means that the good is not present in that spot, but it is present somewhere else. By the way, if you play Wordle or some other word games like this, it's sort of similar to Wordle, except for you're not trying to spell anything in particular here. So I know that all 4 of these are present somewhere, and I'm just going to put them in some other different random order and see what we get. Okay, so I got 1 supply right. I got a red supply here. That means that there's no supplies anywhere anymore. And this one is going to have to be coins, you see. Sorry, that's not, it doesn't have to be coins. What am I saying? Actually, I might lose this one. This would be amusing. It could be coins. It could be, I need to put the crystals somewhere. What are those things called? Arg. Sugar crystals, yeah. This one has to be microgreen supplements. Yeah, this one has to be crystals. This one could be microgreen or gold, and this one could be crystals or gold, and I don't know what. So, I don't know. I'll just make a guess. Maybe I'll get it wrong. I did get it wrong. All right, the chances of this happening are quite low, but I'm glad it happened because it demonstrates failure of negotiation. Now you can buy an extra turn with diamonds here. I'm not going to do that. I virtually never do that because I can just try again. I have to abandon the goods that I had already spent, write them off as lost, but there's not many, so it's no big deal. Okay, let's look what happened here when I tried again. I guessed the 4 different goods plus an extra gold. 3 of the slots were correct. This red shows me that there's no microgreen supplements, there's no supplies. Therefore, the remaining 2 slots can either be the gold or the crystals. And I'm going to fill in with gold first. I have 2 turns left and I have two options, so I'll just fill in with gold first because I have more of that. And then I can deduce that this one, and it only allows me to enter it anyway, must be crystals. So we get this right. Okay. Now, you saw me do this negotiation twice. What's to stop you from just negotiating it again and again until you get it right? Well, you have something up here called attempts. And you start with 8 attempts, and each time you try a negotiation, it costs 1 attempt, and they regenerate, but they only regenerate 1 per hour, okay? So you have to wait some time. Eventually, if you spend all these, you have to wait some time before you can try again. Let's keep going here. So, sorry, let me just point out, this is a bit of a bigger encounter. You can see that this thing is bigger. Every 4th encounter is bigger. There's one here under the mist. The mist will clear away once I solve that encounter. The bigger ones require more, or have more options for resources, and more options is back because it's harder to guess the combination. Okay, so here I'm favoring the gold and supplies because I have so much of that. Okay, and I got everything right in just 2 turns out of 3. So even though it was possible there was that 3rd good, it never actually appeared in this combination. As far as I know, each of the 5 slots, the correct answer is randomly chosen from among the list that you see. There were 3 things on the list, a good, I forget which one it was, maybe crystals or microgreen or something, and the coins and the supplies. So it just so happens that even though that 1 good was on the list of possible negotiating items, it didn't appear anywhere. Okay, so we succeeded there. We get some reward. That sort of flashed by fast, but one thing you can win in some of these treasures is extra attempts. So I just won 2 extra attempts. That means I can keep going a little bit longer before I have to pause and wait for things to regenerate. So we keep doing this. Okay. Now, again, this is a good start because, see, I got 3 of them right. I got 2 of them wrong, but each of those, this orange means that gold is somewhere else among the unsolved slots, and supplies is somewhere else among the unsolved slots. Well, there is only 1 other unsolved slot for each of them, so it has to be gold here, and it has to be supplies here. And again, this microgreen, although it could have appeared, just didn't happen to by a random chance. Again, that's a diplomatic gift that has to do with this other great building that I have. And by the way, these things you might have noticed are appearing. These are from the Temple of Relics, yet another different great building. Every time you solve one of these encounters, whether by fighting or by negotiating, there's a chance that one of these so-called relics will appear, and the relics have treasure of their own, certain types. All right, let's press onward. So now we're back to having 4 different options. So I select 1 slot for each of them and fill in the extra one with what I have the most spare of, which is gold. None of my guesses were right, so I just sort of mix them up in some different order. See what we get. Ooh, bad guessing today. I mean, usually, well, anyway, usually you don't fail with just four, negotiating items possible. But I could fail here, so I don't know. I just make some guesses. I got to put a microgreen somewhere, and I got to put a supply somewhere. So this is possible. It's consistent, but it might not be. Oh, I failed again. Unbelievable. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I normally don't do this, but just to demonstrate, I am going to select this thing that allows me to buy an extra turn for 10 diamonds. I have nearly 28,000 diamonds. I can easily spare them. I mean, usually I don't, just because it is a bit harder to generate diamonds than to generate these goods and so on. But just so you see what it looks like, I'll spend these diamonds, give myself an extra turn, and hopefully I should be able to get everything right. This has to be supplies. Because see, I've already ruled out 3 options from each of these columns. This has to be microgreen, and this has to be crystals. So this should be correct. Got more diplomatic gifts, cool. Success, points. Get my prize here. And we'll do this. See, now we have 5 resources that we have to pick from, so it gets harder. By the end of this, as you will see, at the end of level 4, and even before the end of level 4, I think at some of the bigger negotiations, you have 10 things to choose from. So there's a lot of ways of getting it wrong. But you can buy extra turns with diamonds, or you can give up and try again. Or there's another thing you can do, which I haven't demonstrated yet. See, by the way, here, again, I'm in this situation where we got 3 things right, 2 things wrong, but they're orange, so it means they have to be someplace else. Well, this can only be this other place, and this can only be this other place. So I know that, even though in principle it would allow me to fill in the microgreen supplements into this column, I know that it's this seaweed thing, whatever. Glowing seaweed. Negotiate. And as I was saying, by the way, there's another way you can get more turns. If you use a boost in the tavern, you can make it so the default number of turns you get is 4 instead of 3. And that actually helps a ton. I'd like to do the mathematics sometime to know exactly how much it should help. But as you can see, I've already failed twice out of 8 attempts, even with relatively few number of resources. I've failed a negotiation, or failed to complete anyway in 3 turns. And but with 4 turns, I found that, well, I almost never fail. I mean, you can't fail with 4 turns and 4 resources, but even the 5 or 6, 7 resources, I almost never fail. You start to have a chance of failing with 8 or 9 or 10. I mean, in principle, you can fail even with 5. It's just, can you fail with 5? I think so. But anyway, it doesn't tend to happen. So there's a huge advantage in spending some of those tavern coins, or whatever they're called, to get yourself a 4th turn. It doesn't last forever. It lasts for, I think you can choose it for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or maybe an hour or 2, something like that. I will show that later, because when we get to the harder levels, you have many more resources to pick from, and you have to pay a ton of diamonds to get them right, or fail a ton of times, which is annoying, or you do that tavern boost, and that helps a lot. So I'm out of attempts for now, okay? So the video is not going to pause, but in real life I'm going to pause, and I'm going to come back later and continue this video when I have more attempts. Okay, and we're back. You can see that my attempts have refilled, and we can continue negotiating. Maybe I'll do one negotiation, but then I want to show what the tavern boost looks like. It also makes sense to use the tavern boost because soon coming up are some negotiations that take, that have more resources and more goods that you can choose from, so they're harder to get correct. Now I have one uncertain choice here. Gold or soy? It could be anything. Soy. I've tried soy. I will have tried soy in every place except for here, and I will have tried gold in every place for here. I think it's just a 50-50 chance, basically. And by luck, I made the right bet. 2 attempts, that's nice. Now, this one, is this a 5er, if I remember well? This is a 5er. This is going to have 6 resources, I think, and the end of the first level might even have 7 resources required. So I'm going to demonstrate using the tavern boost. So here's my tavern. And the tavern boost we're interested in is the extra turn boost. That gives you, by default, 4 turns at every negotiation instead of 3. Every negotiation in the guild expedition. By the way, this extra turn does not apply to negotiations in other places, like the continent map, like the guild battlegrounds, and it should, in my opinion, it really should. It would make it more fair, more balanced between fighting and negotiation strategies, but it only applies to the guild expedition. You can choose the boost in 15, 30 minute or 1 hour durations, but because you only have those 8 attempts, it usually doesn't go longer than 15 minutes until you run out of attempts. Now, if you're paying for extra attempts with medals, which I'm not going to demonstrate today, it might make sense to go for a longer boost. But we'll go for the 15-minute boost, which will be more than enough. Excuse me. And we'll continue our negotiating here. Now this is interesting. This looks good because I got 4 right on the first guess, and there's only 1 that's not good. Problem is, I only have 3 turns left, and there's 4 things to choose from. So it's still possible to fail, despite this seemingly good start. In fact, sometimes the worst start you can get is when you have a whole lot of resources, like if you have 10 resources to pick from, and by sheer luck you guess 4 out of 5 correct, but then you still got 9 choices left for the last one. So I just have to make some guesses here. It's random. Usually I guess in order of what I have the most of. So I had the most coins, and then I had the most this, and then I'm going to choose this. And if it ends up being soy, oh boy, what bad luck. There was only one way that could fail, and it did. That's all right. We can give up, or I could pay the diamonds, but like I said before, usually I don't do the diamonds. Especially for these early stage negotiations, which consume so little resources anyway. Towards the end, you've got 10 resources to choose from, and you're maybe spending 9 goods of each on each attempt. It can consume a lot of resources. Although in this world, I have plenty of resources anyway. I have these goods that I'm negotiating with. I've got 20,000 some of each, and some of them are from last phase. Actually, on level 1 of Guild Expedition, we're all using previous age goods. Later on, we'll be using current age goods, but I have more than 20,000 of each, and at most it probably costs a few hundred Oops, I clicked on Battleground by accident. At most it costs a few hundred to get through. I don't really know how much it costs, actually. I've not been too careful about keeping track. Maybe after the video someone wants to go through and count it all out. Let's see how much I used. Okay, now this is an interesting scenario, and I'll tell you why. There's 3 possible goods left, and I have 3 turns left. So I could just choose randomly, or knowing that supplies are my least valuable resource, I can bet that all of these are supplies, which is unlikely to be true, but it saves me from spending resources on things that I don't need to spend them on. Boy, I'm really not guessing too well today, but thankfully I have the 4 turns. And by the way, these diplomatic gifts really help with the goods. So, I just won 500 goods from diplomatic gifts. That's going to pay for a heck of a lot of the negotiating that I'm going to do in this guild expedition. It definitely defrays some of the costs. Anyway, you can see here I'm just doing my usual strategy. I'm choosing one of each thing to start. And repeating the process. This has to be supplies because there's only one choice left. This has to be supplies. So one of these is going to be this microgreen thing. Oh, that one. Oh yeah, because the coins are out. So this should be correct. There we go. And another 50 goods. I mean, at this point, if I stopped, I'd be up goods. I would have earned far more goods than I spent, I think. But as we get towards the end of Guild Expedition, we will definitely be spending more goods than we're getting in rewards. There's other rewards that we get. See, I'm just filling in one of each remaining choice just to see. This one I'm going to choose the cheaper of the 2 options. And I move the microgreen over here because that's the only place it can be. Oh, I'm really lucky with these diplomatic gifts today. Alright, and we're cruising along. This should be a 6er, I think. Yes. Again, a very subtle thing. Actually, often when I'm playing this, well, what's often? I don't do this very often because I usually fight. But more normally, I would use the number keys on my keyboard to select these really fast. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. It saves time. And that's fine, except if you want to be a real cheapskate about the goods and instead use supplies and coins in preference to these goods, well, then either you have to do 1, which selects the first row, and then 2, say, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, to fill in the 5 slots with 5 different things, including coins and supplies, or something like that. Often I don't bother and I just hit 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, even though I'm not being optimal with respect to the goods. Actually, let me put this here. No, I'm going to put this here. See, I've already found 1 crystal. But there could be more crystals, and I don't know where they are. But what I like to do, and I don't know if this is optimal or not, is the things that I've already found 1 of, and there still might be more, but I tend to stack them on top of something else, because I'm less sure if there's more of them, whereas I'm definitely sure that there's supplies. And at this point, the soy has to go here. You see, choice was forced. Supplies is the only thing left. This choice was forced. Crystals is the only thing left. And yet from this row, I know that there's a soy left somewhere. Well, there's only one spot left, so it's got to be here, even though the thing gives me the option of all three of these. So I'm just explaining what my reasoning is here. Okay, more diplomatic gifts. And let's try to finish the final negotiation of level 1 of Guild Expedition. Start by taking one of each. And we fill in some of those again. Well, no, I don't want to do that. I haven't even tried this one yet, so I'm going to fill that in. I haven't tried this one yet, so I'm going to fill that in. You gotta, my strategy is generally to try first things that you haven't tried yet, as long as you don't know what all the answers are. And I'm going to take 2 of these 3 oranges and fill them into different slots. Okay, because you see I discovered that this seaweed is somewhere. Gold, it's got to be here. And therefore seaweed, it's got to be there. And this one, see up here I had soy. I know soy is somewhere. Only one slot left. Soy's got to be here. And even more goods. This is pretty good luck I'm having. All right, so we finished negotiating. We'll get the final treasure. And before we move on to level 2, you see this color, we have some relics somewhere. We have to collect the relics. More relics. Okay, and now we can move on to level 2. We have 2 attempts left. This is going to be just gold and supplies again, or is there a third? No, there's a third good. But we'll do gold and supplies because they're in greater abundance. And I'm just going to fill them in the other way. Again, you know, saving as late as possible, saving these goods, just because, you know, why spend more valuable goods when you don't have to? It's possible that this will be fully right and will be done. And it is. So there you go. We got away without spending any proper goods, just coins and gold, coins and supplies. We've got 1 attempt left. And by the way, you can see I've been going very slowly and chatting a lot, and we still have 5 minutes left on that extra turn boost. So if I was actually playing fast, you know, probably would have gotten all those negotiations done in just, I don't know, 3 minutes or something. So what do we do here? Well, it could be gold. It isn't, so we have to pay 1 proper resource, topological records. Proper good, I should say. And we get that. Bing! I must have completed a quest here. Alright, so that's it for this session. Again, I'm going to pause and come back later when I've got a full set of attempts built up. Okay, and we're back for some more fun. I've got a little bit of background noise going on here, so sorry if that bothers you. If I'm lucky, the microphone will filter some of it out. So we're on level 2. I'm going to go back to the tavern, and I'm going to use, oops, not tavern room. I'm going to use the turn boost here, extra turn. And here we go. Let's keep negotiating. As usual, we start by putting 1 of each thing and fill the extra with something cheap like coins. Alright, so everything is present. And you know, I just mix it up the next time. I guessed, you know, everything in 1 slot. Second time, I'm going to guess everything again. I'm going to put them in different slots, and I don't know. I tried not to do something systematic, like just shift everything over by one. I could shift everything over by one, but I tried to just sort of mix it up and get something rather different. I don't know if it really makes any difference. And of course, I'm not going to choose coins again for the extra, because I choose one of each thing. I'm not going to choose coins for the extra, because then I'm putting coins a lot more than other resources, and it just seems to me less likely to detect the truth. So I'll do this. Okay, now we're getting there. We've got an orange supplies here. It's got to be someplace else. There's only one other place, so it's got to be there. And this, we have only one choice. It's got to be this. So there we go. So we made it in 4. I think you'll see if you collect statistics as we go that we should fail only quite rarely when we have 4 turns, until maybe we get to the really hard levels. So we start with 1 of everything. Okay. In the second round, I'm going to put 1 of these because I wasn't able to put it the first time around, and I'm going to mix up the other things that I know are there. Okay, orange here. Where's it got to be? It's got to be here. And this. Now this is an interesting scenario. Here we know, what do we know here? We know that there's one of these, what are these things called? It looks like a squid or something. Bio creatures. We know there's a bio creature somewhere, and in particular we know it must be here. We don't know much else. I found coins here. I mean, this orange box tells me there's coins somewhere, but I found coins here. This tells me that there's soy somewhere, but I found it here. And there could be supplies somewhere else. I don't know. I hit on supplies correctly the first time, and I don't know where it is. So in this slot, any one of these 3 choices could work. Okay? So what am I going to do? I know bio creatures are here, so I could put bio creatures here, and I have 2 turns left. I'm going to be able to pick 2 of these 3 things. Maybe I pick supplies first or coins first, and then if that's not right, I'll pick one of the other ones, and I might be right, I might be wrong. So there's a 1/3 chance that I don't pick the correct thing, even in my remaining 2 turns, that I don't pick the correct thing here. So I have a 1/3 chance of failing, 2/3 chance of succeeding. That's pretty good, but there's a way for me to guarantee succeeding. Do you see what it is? This is sort of advanced negotiating, you might say. Think about it for a second. Pause the video if you want, and I'll tell you the answer. The answer is don't put bio creatures here, even though we know it's here. I'm going to put supplies here, and we're going to put coins here. Why? First of all, coins might be right, and if coins is right, then on the 4th turn I put bio creatures. Supplies might be correct for here, in which case it would show orange in this slot, and then on the 4th turn I know to put supplies here, and I know to put bio creatures here. And it could be that soy is correct here. Then I'd get red for this, and I'd know soy is left for here, and I know bio creatures goes there. So I can guarantee the win by not immediately placing bio creatures where I know it should be, and instead using that slot to probe extra for, whether supplies should be here. Again, if you played Wordle, it's sort of a similar strategy of, testing out letters and learning what's in the right place or not right place. So let's do this. And it's exactly that case what I saw. If I had just naively tried coins here and then on the fourth turn tried supplies here, I would have lost. But instead, I used these 2 slots to probe both of them. I found that they're both wrong. That means this has to be soy. And of course, my bio creatures goes over here. There we go. Pretty nice, huh? All right. More blueprints. And we go back to the usual scheme. Put everything once. Actually, that's a bit of a strategic mistake. Do you know why? I wasn't thinking clearly. There's only 4 possible resources, and there's only 4, and I have 4 turns. So what I tend to do really in that case is just say start with all coins, because I have the most coins. Make sure I hit all the coin slots. Start with all the, and then continue with all the supplies, and so on like that. The win is still guaranteed, and maybe it saves a little bit of these goods. Goods are harder to generate than supplies or coins. Okay, now that's forced. And so, it's a little strategy that it doesn't affect your chance of winning, but it affects a little bit the efficiency which we use resources, considering that the different resources take different amounts of effort to generate. So this is what I'm going to do here. There was 4 goods. I have 4 turns. So you see, I ruled out coins. Now, it turns out there was no coins anywhere. And I'm going to fill all the supply slots that I could, the possible supply slots. Okay, I only hit 1. It's not a big savings this time, but sometimes it helps. And here we go with the win. So I don't know, was it very efficient? You can count up, if you have fast enough eyes, how many goods I ended up spending. Now here we have 5 resources to choose from, so we're just going to use 1 of each. Okay, so most of them are present, and I just mix them around somehow for the second turn. Okay, easy. 2 oranges, 2 slots left. You just have to swap them. Ah, 7 things to choose from. See, now again, if I want to maybe eke out a slight bit more of efficiency, I want to try 5 different things the first round, but I'll make sure coins and supplies are part of that. Ah, interesting. So we ruled out 4 things on the very first turn. That means we have 4 slots left and 3 turns left and 3 different goods. There's no particular strategy to how I'm filling these in. It's just doing something random. Okay. 1 slot left, 2 turns left, 2 goods left. Sometimes I preferentially choose the one that I have a little bit more of. I have slightly more of this seaweed. This is a habit I developed when I actually had not as many goods, and I was worried about running out. But I have plenty of goods now. All right, we have 2 more attempts unless we win some more. Oopsie doopsie. Try 1 of each. And mix them around. Including, of course, I go back to doing 1 of these bio creatures, because there could still be bio creatures somewhere. And there is, in fact. Okay, here I need to shift by 1. See, supply, it's got to be there. Or, what is this red seaweed called? Oh, I can't look there. red algae. You know, red, red, it's got to be there. So everything is shifting over by 1. Supplies is shifting over by 1, and biocreatures are shifting over by 1 and looping around. Okay. And we've got one more negotiation before we need to pause for more attempts to build up. Another 5er. Start with 1 of each. Okay, interesting start. Ruled out 2 things. 3 things you hit straight away. So I got 2 slots. I got 3 things to work on. And in fact, I have 3 turns left. So if I want to be goods stingy, I'll try first with supplies, which didn't work out. And I'll just put 1 of each of these things, see what happens. All right, so it has to be that. Success. We got more attempts. Okay, we get to keep going actually. Fill in 1 of each thing. Okay, I'm going to move some of those guesses. Some of the things that I know where they are, I'm going to guess them again, but I move them to the slots where I haven't succeeded in anything yet, where I have no information. And then I have to guess something that I haven't tried at all because I don't know if it's anywhere. And then I have to guess something else, which maybe I'll just guess supplies. I sometimes wonder if I should guess glowing seaweed twice, because then by this point, I'm just trying to keep things balanced, and by this point I will have guessed supplies in 2 places, what is this thing called, in 2 places, this in 2 places, and this in 2 places. It feels like I'm keeping it more even, and maybe it's more likely, I don't know, but then the reason I'm guessing these ones the second time is because I know they are somewhere, and I don't know if the seaweed even is anywhere. So I'm not sure what's the optimal choice to make in this scenario. If someone has a mathematical argument that they can make and prove to me the best way to do it, I'd appreciate it. I know how to set up a computer program to answer that question, and I've never bothered to do it, but it's been in the back of my mind for a couple years to calculate what the optimal strategy is here. And now I see I'm actually running a bit low on time with my 4th move, my 4th turn boost. I'm running out of time, and I still have attempts left because we just got that boost in attempts, and because I'm blathering so much as I make this video. So trying to hurry it up a little bit. I'm trying to make sure I keep probing each different option. We're likely going to run out of 4th attempt. Run out of 4th turn boost before I can manage to use up all of my attempts. 20 seconds left. Can you feel the tension? Can you feel the excitement? Also, if I was doing this outside of a video, I'd be using the keyboard keys probably to make the job faster. Oh, I got a choice to make. Which one? Do I have any evidence? Nope. It could be either one. So I'll just choose arbitrarily the one I have more of. I've tested them the same number of times. I had 2 oranges for soy and 1 green. I had 2 oranges for biocreatures and 1 green. I tested them the same amount. I have no evidence which one it might be. I just have to make a random choice. Well, random. I chose the one that I have slightly more of, but let's see if we're right or wrong. Ooh, we lucked out. And I could try to do this negotiation even without the 4th extra turn. Let's see, how many is it? Oh, 7. The likelihood of success is not high. So I'm gonna, instead of going back to the tavern and buying another boost when I only have 1 attempt left to spend on it, I'm just gonna pause here, wait till the attempts to refill, and then keep going. And let's see what Temple of Relics rewards we got here. There's a lot of them piled up, many of which I don't care about. Not especially needful of medals or tribal squares or sacred sky watches. Don't really need blueprints either. Well, I got 25 goods from one of them. That was all right. Okay, so we pause here and we will come back when our attempts are full. Okay, so we're back here again. We've got some difficult negotiations facing us, so I'm once again going to go back and get a boost. Whoops. I guess I'll just give myself the 15 minutes. Whoops. Maybe I'll try to negotiate a little bit faster now. I'm starting to realize how long this video might end up being. It's looking like it might be over an hour or something like that, which would probably be stupendously boring, I have to imagine. Anyway, just following my usual system. Try 5 different things, try the remaining things. What do we want to do here? Put that here, maybe. Put that there, maybe. This, and we'll try 1 more of these to see. Okay, 2 oranges, just need to swap them. And there we go. Hey, more gifts, hooray! Okay, I'm just gonna start at the beginning here and not bother with the special coins and supplies ordering. Okay, so I'm gonna put that there, and I have 3 more things that I haven't tried yet, so I'm gonna put those 3 things here. Then I will have tried everything once. All right, so we know we have some of this. Might or might not be any of that, and there might or might not be any of that. So actually I'm going to put that here, because like I said before, I like to fill in the things that I know we have over a blank spot. And we need to rotate everything by 1 step. And there we go. One more negotiation on level 2. This is a 9er, 9 different resources to pick from. If you try to solve a 9er with only 3 turns, I mean, you can certainly get lucky and do it sometimes, but the odds are not great. I'm just... Okay, I guessed lucky on that last round, but all I knew is what one of these 2 would be crystals, and I'm not even I guess I knew that there was a coins there or there. I didn't know if there was topological records. I think the chance of having guessed that right was pretty small. It happens sometimes. Okay, we need to collect our relics before we move on to the next level. More sacred sky watches that I don't need. I don't know how many of those things I've saved up now, because I've sold a bunch of them in the antique dealer. Sorry, where's the remaining relic? There we are. Another sacred sky watch. And we'll start level 3. Got a 5er, so we start with one of each. Okay. And I'm going to spread these orange options around and try supplies again in case there's more supplies. Okay, try coins. We're going to succeed, but whether it's 1 step or 2, I don't know. There we go. More rogues. I have so many rogues. I would have to check how many, but it's probably well into the thousands. Might even be 10,000 or something. I don't know. I've had rogues den in my mini city for a long time, and I've had an Alcatraz in my city for a long time, so it just keeps making more and more of them. And in fact, the way I fight in Space Age Jupiter Moon, I don't usually use rogues at all, so they're just piling up. Maybe I should even store away my rogues den, now that I think about it. I'll start with one of each. You guys must be getting the system by now, if anyone's still watching. I'm going to try the topological records twice, because I know it's somewhere. These other guys, I don't even know if they're in the puzzle. Okay. And there we go. We've got 3 golds in the middle there. 2 more negotiations, and then we might run out of... we will run out of attempts, unless we happen to get some more attempts as a reward. Filling in, testing the things we didn't test before. See, I had the 3 oranges. I put the 3 oranges. 2 things I didn't test, so now they've been tested. Topological means it must be here. Coins could be here. And we don't know anything else. We don't know if there's more microgreen or more sponge. I'll try sponge here. Okay, gotta flip the coins and the sponge. Or coral, wherever that thing is. Yay, forge points. The diplomatic gifts come from this great building called the Space Carrier. My Space Carrier is level 80, like almost all of my great buildings are. And I was very excited when this great building came out, because at the time I mostly operated by negotiating, and the Space Carrier has a certain chance of giving a reward every time you have a successful negotiation, up to a certain number of negotiations. We got more attempts, so we get to keep going. Cool. So that was pretty cool when that came out. And then subsequently, I converted the city to much more of a fighting style. I almost never negotiated anymore, and therefore I wasn't getting any benefit from that Space Carrier. So it's fun to see a little benefit from it here. Makes me think maybe I should do this negotiating and Guild Battleground more often, or maybe, Guild Expedition more often, or maybe Guild Battleground for that matter. You can also do negotiations when you're, what's it called? In the Space Age ones, you have to sort of mine for goods on the other planet or moon or whatever it is, depending on the exact level. I forget what that's called. Is it called going for exploring? Maybe it's called exploring. Anyway, you can either do it by a fight, which again is the normal way I do it, or by negotiating. And for a while I used some of those for negotiating fodder, just because they were easy negotiations and I could use them to reap the benefit from my space carrier. But I just haven't been doing it lately. Haven't bothered. I mean, space carrier gives nice rewards, forge points, goods, and so on, but I got lots of forge points. It's not like I'm dying for more forge points. And I got lots of goods as well, so yeah, I just sort of don't bother. Okay. Not guessing too well here. Still got 4 slots to figure out, and 4 resources they could be. The red thing needs to come over here, but this, oh okay, only one option. There we go. This is the power of 4 turns. I mean, I'm not even paying that close attention to what I'm doing, and still I'm managing to not fail these negotiations. Okay, tested one of each. I'm going to retry these 2. I'm going to try these 2 things that I didn't try yet. No, sorry, there's 3 things I didn't try yet. So let me try this. Wait, is that right? This is a 7er. I should have tried. I must have clicked something wrong the first time around. I didn't click that. Just when I'm saying how I don't have to pay that much attention, I mess something up through inattention. Okay, I've got a 50-50 choice here, partly because I messed up on the first round. What do you think it's going to be? Bio-creatures or topological? Wait a second, does it have to be topological? Because I know from here that this should be somewhere, and there's only one place left. So it's not a 50-50. I'm really not paying good attention, am I? Fortunately, I made it anyway with my 4th extra move, and we didn't get more attempts. So that's where we're going to pause for now. I'll just grab these relics. That's some free bio-creatures. There's another relic here, but we can't get it yet because of the fog. So alright, we'll pause there, and we'll come back when we've got some attempts filled up again. Alright, so here we are, back for more. Again, I'm going to use a tavern boost to make this easier. There we go. Once upon a time I worried about tavern boost and running out of money, but now I have so much tavern coins built up, I virtually never use them, so no worries today. You guys should know the system by now. We just start by checking everything, and then we continue by checking what we didn't check the first time, and put some of these other things in the available slots. Okay, this must be sponge. And I'll just take a guess here. Let's see, this is my 2nd turn, so I'm going to do the classic thing of, probably these are not both coins, but, oh sorry, I'm miscalculating how many turns I have left. Okay, that was stupid. Oh my goodness. Ugh, I screwed it up. I'm just going to pay diamonds, what the heck. What I should have done was do one each of those goods in those 2 columns, and then I would not have failed. Or at least, sorry, I should have done tested one of the goods in columns 3 and 4. Starting with one of each. Okay, not much luck there. We'll put those old things here. We'll put the other things we didn't test here. And see what we get. Okay. I'm just spreading things around. We got, yeah, 4 things left, 4 slots, so we'll give them each a try. Okay, crystals, we tried there and there. It's got to be here. These things could be there or could be there. In fact, they have to be here. But here we have a choice. Ooh, what to choose? It could be red, it could be these things. I just don't know. I have to make a random choice. I'm going to choose what I have more of. Am I going to do that? Because I'm already putting one of those there. I'm going to put this here. Diversity. One of each. Ugh, I was wrong. Jeepers. I don't know what's happening. Usually I shouldn't fail so much on, when I have 4 turns available. Kind of ridiculous. Okay. I'll try a couple of these things. Okay, so this is going to be crystals. Sponge is going to be there or there. I'll try there, and I'll try one of these here. Okay. Again, I have a choice to make. Okay, I've only done topological once, so I'm going to try it there. Good. And a nice gift goods payoff from my space carrier. Just before I started this round of negotiating, I had harvested all my buildings, including the space carrier, so I have a full set of negotiation, not negotiation tries, but diplomatic good tries left. With 9 goods, it takes me almost the first 2 full turns to even test each thing once. So we know we got one of these somewhere, one of these somewhere, one of these, whoops, and yeah, one of these crystals. Hopefully we hit some here. Good. And we just have to swap these 2. Eight options, but it's only 1 resource, like 1 good per guest, so it's not very expensive, even if you get it wrong. And we'll try what we didn't try before, plus go back to one of these. Okay, so this one has to go here. It's not there, it's not there. Here we can try this. We could try this. Wait, I know that there's a biocreature somewhere. Let me put a biocreatures here. And you know, even though I know this one is the DNA thing, I'm gonna try putting a sponge there just to test if there's any sponges. Ah, see, there is. So now I know sponge goes here. Otherwise, I don't think I would have known to choose between sponge or biocreatures here. But I know it's sponge because I tested it here, and then I can put this thing. What I know was there for sure already. It's again a nice example of this negotiating trick that just because you know where something goes doesn't mean you should put it there. You should maybe use that slot to test for another resource. Okay, hey, look at that. First try. We know exactly which 5 things are. We just need to get them in the right order now. So I'm going to do something random and see what we get. Oh wait, did I put 2 biocreatures? Oh man, that was so dumb. I'm really not paying attention to what I'm doing here. Let's put some sponges here. Some red algae, some this. And then this. Okay, just checking slightly to make sure I'm not screwing this up again. Okay, now we're good because the red algae has to go here. That means everything else shifts over by 1. Sponges shift over, and those things shift over. Okay, we have 2 attempts left. Hopefully we can finish level 3 in this session, in this sitting, before we come back for level 4 next time. Okay, so only 1 in that first batch of tests. We're going to test everything else in the second batch. And, okay, there still might be coins. And we should spread these other things around. Okay, again, 3 things. We know what they are. We know they're there. This one's been tested in both those spots, so it has to go over by 1. That means this one has to go over by 1. And that means this one has to go over by 1. Looping around, of course. And we're to the end of level 3. It's a 10 resources to choose from. Even with 4 turns, your chances of succeeding in a 10 resource negotiation, I don't know what they are, but they're definitely not 100%. I don't know if they're as bad as 50%. Probably not. Just making sure I'm doing this right. Yep, I've got 1 of each of the remaining things. Oh, gotten 3. That's rare. That's just a very lucky guess for those last 4 things. So we'll take that. But we also have to pick up some relics. More relics. And now level 4. Level 4 has a different background. Volcanoes and lava and stuff. Once upon a time, level 4 didn't exist. There was only 3 levels to Guild Expedition at the start. So is my understanding. Ever since I started playing this game, which is, I don't know if it's maybe 4.5 years ago, something like that. There was always 4 levels of Guild Expedition, but apparently earlier on there was only 3 levels of Guild Expedition, and there is talk on YouTube that sometime soon there'll be 5 levels of Guild Expedition. But I won't be able to demonstrate that today. So anyway, there we go for this session. We've got 1 level of Guild Expedition left. We need to let our attempts refill, and then we'll be back at it. Alright, here we are for yet another visit. Continuing on level 4 of Guild Expedition. I've already used the tavern boost to increase my number of turns to 4. We start with a pretty easy 7 resource one here. So let's see how that goes. Okay, I don't know. Flipping it around. Whoops. Okay. Ooh, I have to make a choice. I don't know. Woof. Oh boy. Well, let's try that one again. See, I shouldn't have said it was relatively easy. That probably cursed me or something. Okay, that's not a bad start. Should be able to finish this one up with no problem. There we go. Diplomatic gifts, I like it. Okay. And we have another 7er. Not many of those. Let's see about these. Okay, one of each. Just got to get them in their right places, wherever that may be. Okay, see, topological records needs to go here, so gold needs to go here, and supplies needs to go here. Alrighty. Ooh, 4 attempts. Get to keep going for a while here. If we earn enough free attempts, we might even be able to finish all of Guild Expedition 4. Would that be exciting? Probably not, because this video is not very exciting. Whoops, what am I doing here? Okay, do we know everything? There's one of these, there's one of these, there's one of these, there's one of these. Oh, we got something else. What do we choose? I don't know. Well, that would be our 4th crystal. We should spread it out more evenly. We'll do a 3rd sponge try. And crystals needs to go here, because 1, 2, 3, it's already there. Sponges, these topological records, I think it's called. Is that what? No, that's the DNA thing. I'm calling it the wrong name. Anyway, that one goes there. And therefore, creatures. Ooh. See, creatures or sponges goes here, and creatures or sponges goes here. And I don't know which. Am I going to take the 50-50 gamble and lose it again? This time I make it. Very good. Incidentally, well, I was about to say for a more advanced player like me, the worthwhile rewards from Guild Expedition come primarily on level 4, although in fact I'm not really interested in any of the rewards that Guild Expedition gives anymore, except possibly diamonds. I mean, diamonds are useful, although I have a diamond farm that can give me diamonds. But, you know, once upon a time I was excited about things like the terrace farm. I don't know. I was also a little bit excited at one point about even the face of the ancient upgrade, or what's the other one, the arch, I forget the name of it, but these 2x2 decorations that once the upgrade came out could give you attack boosts or defense boosts. So the attack boost in particular seemed somewhat worthwhile. You get a +3 attack boost from a level 2, I think it's the face version, Face of the Ancient. So that's, you know, 3 attack points for 4 squares. There's definitely buildings with a little bit better efficiency than that, but you don't need any roads for those decorations. So, you know, from that perspective, they're pretty good, really. And I started to fill my city with some. I stopped putting them because I developed a strategy more of focusing on the special event buildings, because some of the special event buildings give attack boost as well as goods, as well as forge points. So even if from a pure attack perspective, oh, what am I doing? I don't want to attack. That was reflexive. And I was saying the word attack. Even from the perspective of the attack bonus efficiency of a level 2 Face of the Ancient, it didn't really make sense when you think about special event buildings that give all these other resources too, plus population, plus whatever, coins or supplies or all kinds of things. So I haven't really been adding the face or gates or arches, whatever they're called, for a while now. I think, am I doing this correctly? I'm paying more attention to my story than I am to what I'm doing in this negotiation. I have some ambiguity here. No, wait. Well, yes, I do have some ambiguity. I'm just going to have to make a choice. And I could be wrong. Whew. Good. That was lucky. These are starting to be quite expensive, as you can see. 7 goods each time I choose one. And, you have to choose multiple times to get it right. I really don't have a good sense. I should probably do a calculation sometime of how many goods you're expected to spend trying to go through the whole guild expedition. I have the sense that it's probably in the low hundreds for each good, but I'm not sure. No. What do I need here? This thing. Whew, guessed right again. Lucky. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone's done that calculation, or if it's on the Forge of Empires wiki somewhere. Maybe leave a message and tell me. I'm curious what those numbers are. If nobody's made those numbers, then maybe I'll try to calculate something. As I was mentioning earlier, I used to play this game wholly by negotiating. So at that time, I was pretty conscious of, spending goods and, how much I needed, and could I afford to do Guild Expedition 4? There was a period when I still wasn't generating too many goods yet. There was a period that, again, I have to make a 50-50 choice. Sponge and bio creatures this way, or is it the other way around? Whew, guess lucky again. Hooray. There was a time when, I was generating enough goods to negotiate my way to the end of Guild Expedition 4, but I didn't want to if there wasn't a good chance of a reward, so I would ask guildmates, and at this time I was particularly interested in the terrace farms, because the terrace farm upgrade had already come out, so you could get this 5x6 building which generated 12 forge points. So at the time that was pretty awesome. And so I would ask a guildmate who had finished Guild Expedition, was the terrace farm available as a reward this week? Because some weeks it was, some weeks it wasn't. And so I would only negotiate to the end if, I'm going to pay diamonds. What the heck? Because I'm hoping maybe we can finish this during this session. Yeah, so I'd ask a guildmate. And if the terrace farm was one of the rewards, in particular the reward at the end, at this final thing here, then I'd go to the end of Guild Expedition. And you still only had a 50-50 chance, I think, of getting it. Something like that. I remember that when I did start collecting terrace farms, and I've told this story on another video, that in the first year of trying to collect terrace farms, when by expectation I should have gotten, I think you're supposed to get, like, on average, you should expect to get one per month. And I got, I don't know, like 3 or something in the first full year in this world. Whereas in another world, where I have my diamond farm, and I didn't care in the slightest about getting terrace farms because I wasn't going to build any, just going to blow more diamonds. In that world, I got like 15 of them the first, no, 15 or not 15. I think I'm exaggerating, but I got a lot. Almost every time I had the chance to get one, I did get one. And so that city has so many diamond farms, so many terrace farms piled up in my storage. It's ridiculous. Of course, I could use the antique dealer to sell them, but I just sort of usually don't bother. I don't know. Okay, I keep getting in these situations where I have to make some guesses. So let's guess this, which necessitates this. And I still have a guess about these guys. So the chance of this being correct is not awfully high. Let's blow through more diamonds. Who cares? That has to go here. Therefore, this has to go here. See, because it's done there. And then, you know what? I'm starting to realize part of the reason this is happening is because I'm not being very smart about the way I randomly select goods to try in these slots. The smarter way to do it is to, when you're putting things down, think about whether you're creating short cycles. Like if you suppose I put bio creatures here and sponges there, and they were both orange, and then the next time I put them down in the same two slots but the other way around, well, they could still be orange, and I have no idea if they're out here or something. I think it's better to try different things in those and put other things there. I could be wrong about this. This could be just superstition, but I feel like if you have short cycles, that you're sort of setting yourself up to not collect as much information as you can, or put yourself in these, I don't know how else to say it. Maybe this is totally wrong. You know, despite having done the guild expedition for at least 2 full years, well, I say at least, let's say approximately 2 full years, and, you know, developing a fairly good, I think, strategy for it. I don't know if my strategy is quite optimal. It's probably not quite optimal, but I think it's pretty good. There's still questions in my mind, things that I'm not sure. Should I do it this way or that way? You know, if I break, does it matter how I break ties? You know, is there a Monty Hall kind of situation going on here, where even though there might be 2 choices for a particular slot, somehow one of the choices is more likely than the other? I mean, certainly if you have an orange that indicates, sorry, let me just focus here for a second. If you have an orange that indicates something is present somewhere on the board, then that's evidence. But, you know, suppose you had 2 things that were orange, or 2 things that you just didn't know, and you had to choose. Wow, I mean, the chance, this is not going well. Oof, man. Whoops, what happened? I got 3 different choices still possible for this. I don't know. Wow, I could end up spending a ton of diamonds here. Okay, that was lucky. Oh, I see what's happening too, because I ran out of time. I only had 3 turns. That was part of the confusion what happened. All right, look, we've got one thing left. One, what is it called? Encounter left. And I ran out of attempts, but I'm going to buy 1 attempt with medals so we can finish this right now. I'm just soaking up all these relics. And then we can buy an attempt. 480 medals. And here we go. Let's see if we can get it in 3 turns. What's the chance? Not very good, I think. And that's a reasonable start, though. I got 1 right. I got another orange. That tells me something useful. Okay, I got 3 oranges now. So I know 3 things that are here, and I'll try metals because I haven't tried metals yet. Okay, I'll pay some diamonds. And let's see, bio creatures has to be here. This seaweed has to be here. And this one, which one do you think it is? I don't know. I didn't try the topological, did I? No, I mean, this orange could be explained by this. And soy, so either one of them, as far as I know, it's a 50-50 chance that either soy or what is that thing called? Topological records. As far as I know, it's a 50-50 chance that either one is there. I'm going to try soy. Maybe it's superstitious, but I've only tried soy once so far in this game. I've tried topological twice so far in this game. I don't know if that really makes it more probable. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. Oh, I was wrong. All right, here we go. Final one. So there we go. Success. Final reward, Reno kit. And that was negotiating all the way through Guild Expedition. If you want to see the scoreboard here, our guild is in 2nd place. We're not doing so great. But you can see on the player scoreboard, hey, I'm number 1. I completed 64 encounters. And I'm of the highest age, space age, Jupiter, Mars, space age, Jupiter, Moon, Doi. So I naturally get the most points when I participate here. All right, thanks for watching.